So, do you want to know what the top 5 most iconic neighborhoods are in Seattle? Well, stay tuned. This video, I'm going to tell you all about it. Hey everybody, my name is Tova Williamson and I am a local real estate agent here in the Seattle metro area. I shoot tons of videos of what it's like to live in the area. So if those are videos you want more of, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, click that bell so you'll be notified every time a new video comes on. So we love hearing from you. We get reach outs every day from people wanting to move to the area. We love hearing from you, but we can't help unless you give us a call. So call, email, text, whatever you got to do, because we got your back when you're moving to Seattle. So today in this video, I'm going to talk about the 5 most iconic neighborhoods in Seattle. This isn't necessarily like the most popular or the, safest or whatever. These are just like the neighborhoods that when you think of Seattle and you see pictures or videos or in movies, these are like those top 5 ones that you see when you're searching for Seattle. So here we go. Number 1 is East Lake. That area borders Lake Union. If you've seen Sleepless in Seattle, that's kind of where this was based on, living on those floating homes. Most of those floating homes are on East Lake and on Lake Union. So I'll pull it up here on a map for you guys to see. So this is East Lake right here, just north of downtown. We've got downtown here. East Lake here borders kind of I-5 and Lake Union. Gasworks Park, that's where fireworks are shot off during 4th of July. So East Lake, there's tons of floating homes all along here. I wonder if we zoom in, if you can see them, like these little things sticking out are like little floating homes. So all along East Lake, you have them. You get some over here on West Lake too. So that's one of those neighborhoods where you see a lot of the floating homes. These homes are really cool. They're definitely different. Like the neighborhood of East Lake is mostly condos, single family homes, and you have these floating homes. So these floating homes are like a totally different vibe and feel. It's like a whole nother world. You go and step on these docks and lead out to these floating homes, and it's just like total chill vibe. It's like you're on vacation. Everybody's got like a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard that they have just like on their dock next to their house, and they just go out and cruise the lake. It's a really cool thing, but it's a totally different like lifestyle and living experience. It's not for everyone. After you go on those, like when you're touring them and you walk on them and then you walk back on like stable ground, you have like your sea legs. You're kind of like, whew, feel like I had a couple too many drinks here after like being out on these. So it's definitely iconic. And whenever you see any of these homes for sale, people always like refer to Sleepless in Seattle in the comments. It's always like, oh, Sleepless in Seattle, have that vibe. So it's a cool, fun little neighborhood. There's different restaurants, bars, coffee shops. There's not a grocery store in East Lake though. So if you want to move to East Lake and start a grocery store, I'm sure you would do very well, because there's no grocery store. You have to like go somewhere else. But the floating homes are definitely like a cool, different vibe. And I think that's when a lot of people think of Seattle, like they think of Sleepless in Seattle and they think of these floating homes. So they're really cool. Some of them can be really tiny. They're not technically like boats or anything. They're homes floating on the water, and you don't own any land when you buy them. You pay for like the moorage on the dock, and there's usually HOAs involved. But it's a cool, different experience, different lifestyle. But if you're looking for something just a little different, that could be a cool area. And then you just have that like Sleepless in Seattle vibe. Maybe you'll meet like the love of your life living on a houseboat or a floating home in Seattle. So number 1, that's East Lake, and kind of Sleepless in Seattle is what made that area a little more well-known. Number 2 is Capitol Hill. So that area is just north of downtown. I don't know, I feel like Capitol Hill is kind of like that quintessential neighborhood. There's tons going on right here along Broadway. And then another little strip here of stuff going on. Pike Pine, it's where Pike Place Market. I mean, this is a huge hill, so it's not like it's super easy to walk down. Just a ton of things going on in Capitol Hill. You see there's like the rainbow crosswalk that I feel like is in a lot of TV and videos and certain things. So you see that if you're familiar with the movie Singles, their apartment was located in Capitol Hill. I don't know where in Capitol Hill, but that's where it was. So it's kind of like just the young, cool, hip area to be. There's a ton going on, ton of bars, not a ton of nightclubs. Seattle's not super nightclubby, but there is some nightclubs there. Restaurants, shops, grocery stores, like everything. There's parks here. Is Capitol Hill, this area. This is Cal Anderson Park. If you were following the news at all, a couple of years ago, there was like the Chop Chaz area after the George Floyd protests. That was located right around here. So, I mean, it's all gone now, but that's where it was. Oh, Jimi Hendrix statue too. So that's a famous area where the Jimi Hendrix statue is. So yeah, Capitol Hill is definitely like a fun, cool neighborhood, mostly condos, townhouses, a lot of new construction. If you go out further, like east in this area and even like North Capitol Hill up in Volunteer Park, you get a ton of these huge, amazing, beautiful estate homes. They're just like huge. I love just like cruising around this area and just looking at all of these homes because they're just so beautiful and amazing. So you do get that there too, but mostly it's going to be apartments, condos, and like new construction townhouses, and some houses further out, but it's a definite happening area. If you're super into like the nightlife and everything going on, Capitol Hill is going to be your place to be. Fair warning though, like weekends, it gets kind of wild and rowdy, especially along this Broadway strip and then like the Pike and Pine corridor too. It can get really crazy, and there's a lot of houses around these areas too. So if you're not like super in the nightlife, you want like the quiet, peaceful life, this area is probably not going to be for you because it is definite like party town on the weekends. So number 2 was Capitol Hill. So number 3, we've got Fremont. So that's just north of the city right here. You cross over this Fremont Bridge, or you've got Aurora Bridge. Fremont is known, they call it the center of the universe. It's kind of this, I don't know, like kind of hippie, kind of cool vibe. There's a ton of new construction, townhouses coming up there, some single family homes further up north from the little like downtown kind of neighborhoody area of Fremont. But all along this area, there's a ton of bars. There's a lot of live music going on. It's just kind of west of UW here. So weekends can get a little crazy here too. You get a lot of like the college crowd that's sick of being in UW, and then they come over to Fremont. But Fremont is known, if you saw the movie 10 Things I Hate About You, there's a scene where they're like walking around town. And that was in Fremont where they were walking. So Fremont's known for being kind of this like hippie-ish area. There's the Stalin statue that's right downtown that a lot of people come to take pictures of. Also under the Aurora Bridge, there's the Fremont Troll. Again, it's just like this troll sculpture thing, and people go and take pictures of that. Fireworks go off at Gasworks Park here on 4th of July. So you can come and stand on the Fremont Bridge right here and see the fireworks. Fremont also has a really big, good farmers market. I think it's one of the only ones that goes year round in the area. Most of the neighborhood farmers markets close up for winter, but this one's like a really big one and goes on all year. So there's a ton of restaurants and bars in that area too. Mostly going to be a lot of new construction townhouses, condos, apartments, and then some houses further up. One thing you can't tell from this picture also, I mean, all of these areas in Seattle is very hilly. So, I mean, it looks like flat, but it's huge hills, like from being down on the main drag here and going up, like these are like huge, huge hills that you hike up. So just beware when you're looking in that area. But that's another area that's very iconic that you probably see in a lot of pictures, or if you're doing like touristy looking at things, you'll hear about like the Fremont Troll and some of that stuff. So that was number 3. Number 4, we've got Lower Queen Anne. So this is all Queen Anne Hill. And then Lower Queen Anne, also called Uptown. They just officially changed the name of the neighborhood to Uptown. Nobody calls it Uptown. It's Lower Queen Anne. It's the LQA, people say. Again, you can't tell, but Queen Anne, this is a huge hill. So that's really what connects Lower Queen Anne and Upper Queen Anne. But the biggest thing that you see is the Space Needle. So Seattle Center borders just like the southern part of Lower Queen Anne. And so you've got Seattle Center, you've got the Space Needle, Pacific Science Center, all of that tourist stuff that happens is all right here. And so, I mean, there's tons of apartments and townhouses kind of in this little strip, and then even over here too. But that's where you see a lot of those pictures of the Space Needle. A lot of them are probably taken from Queen Anne, or even Capitol Hill has some good views down of the Space Needle. But I think like Grey's Anatomy, that's based in Seattle. And I think that the one gal, Meredith, that was like her apartment was technically in Queen Anne. I don't even know if they shot the show here. But that's like, I think where it's supposed to be based is in Queen Anne, because the hospital is like further down. But it's funny, once you like know the area and you start seeing some of these movies, you're like, that's not really accurate. Like I remember watching Grey's Anatomy, and they'd show like the helicopter coming in to the hospital and like with the Space Needle in the background. Well, there's no hospitals right here. They're all like further down here. That's Harbor View. So when you're flying in on a helicopter, you're not going to have like the Space Needle right behind you, but you know, they do it for the show. Another popular thing in Queen Anne is Cary Park. So that's right here. This is all a big slope of the hill. So Cary Park has really amazing views of the city. And so if you see any like postcard views or any pictures of Seattle, 99% of the time they're going to be shot out of that Cary Park, because it's just beautiful. You have like the Space Needle in the middle with the city on the side. If it's a clear day, you see Mount Rainier behind, you've got the water. So it's just like that iconic shot that you see on postcards. That's most likely where it's shot from. Anytime you go up to that park, you see like people getting pictures for prom. There's always like a photographer of some sort, like taking pictures. You'll see people like shooting music videos there. So it's kind of like that iconic shot of Seattle that you get there. And I always tell tourists too, it's like, if you're coming, I mean, the Space Needle is cool to go up in, but you get like way better views, I think, at Cary Park. Just better like picturesque views of the city. And the Space Needle, you're just like up above looking down, so you don't quite get that like whole panoramic view of everything. So if you're looking for good shots of the city, Cary Park's going to be your place in Lower Queen Anne. And number 5, the final one, it's kind of like not technically a neighborhood, but just Pike Place Market. I mean, that's just, everybody knows about Seattle and everybody wants to go to that market. Kind of like downtown Belltown-ish, I guess, for a neighborhood. Again, not a ton of people. There's not a lot of housing down around there. So here's Pike Place Market. There are condos and stuff in this area. Belltown up here, there's a lot more condos and living, but right down at the market, there are some, but not a ton. But that's just like, again, that iconic area in Seattle. I feel like every movie that's shot in Seattle, they like go to the market for some shot, you know. And it's kind of funny when you watch these movies too, it's like they drive like right down through the market, and it's just like nobody drives down there except tourists that don't know where they're going. But most people, like, you avoid that area because it's so like crowded and touristy. You just don't go there. You go to like your farmer's market or your grocery store. Most people that live here only go there when they have people vacationing and visiting. But that's kind of the iconic spot that you'll see. And it's beautiful. Then you've got views of the water and stuff from here, but that's kind of like the iconic area that you'll see a lot. So there you have it. Those are the top 5 most iconic neighborhoods in Seattle that you're going to see in most of the pictures. So if you want to live somewhere famous, then hit up one of those neighborhoods, because there's a lot happening in all of them, but it's very picturesque and you'll get to see all of those shots. Moving to Seattle can be tough, especially if you don't know the area and you just don't know the certain things to look out for. So that's why we want you to give us a call. We love helping you. We love helping you navigate the area, but we can't help unless you call. So give us a call, email, text. We got your back when you're moving to Seattle.